Welcome to Oil Drip Chats. My name is Julie Johnston, and I am excited today to talk about metabolic health. Aren't you all excited to hear about that? It may not be a topic that was at the top of your list of things you wanted to hear about today, but I think it's very important, and there's a lot that we can learn about our metabolic health and how to improve that health, and some triggers, some things that if you didn't know you had poor metabolic health will help you identify that. And that's what Linda and I are going to do today. We're going to walk you through some checklists of whether or not you might need to improve your metabolic health. Hang on one second while I get Linda on here with me. She's coming. Says it's adding her. Okay, she's joining now. Hey, Linda.
Hi.
How are
Good
you
Friday afternoon?
Yeah.
I am. I'm good. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, I told him we're going to talk about metabolic health today, and some key signs on whether or not you have poor metabolic health that might help. We did put up a post, and it talked about one of the risks if you were someone who had poor metabolic health. And there are quite a few risks, but this was just one of them. And it was cited from the American Association for Cancer Research. And it was that your poor metabolic health might put you at an increased risk for postmenopausal breast cancer. So that's kind of scary. And there are many other types of cancers that you can also be at risk for. And I thought we could share those, as well as just some ways to identify if you are at, someone who might have that metabolic health that is needing to be improved.
Okay. Yeah, I've been. I always constantly go back and think, okay, what are we talking about metabolic health? Because it's such a big, I don't know, it's a big word that's going around, and not just in our doTERRA world, but it's been one that's going on. And so, I've looked up and I've thought, okay, so my metabolic health is actually when my body is using, for instance, food going into it, and it's creating building blocks that will actually give me energy, or that will, run my cells, so to speak. And so what I put into my body can very much affect metabolism. You used to think that as I age, my metabolism changes, and so a lot of these processes, it's because I'm of the aging process and metabolism. But with the reading that I've been doing, and that's partially true, really it is, but there can be really healthy aging, because I was thinking this week about my mom, and my mom was 96, and yet when I would take her places with me, they would say, "You're not 96, really?" Because she was beautiful to the end, with white hair, and while she had, I don't know, her mind was good, her weight was good, she, there were just many things, most, the body, was breaking down the aches and the pains, but really she, even the week before she died, she had actually employed some people to build fence, and she had went grocery shopping, and then she had walked out along to see what they were doing. So there is that aging process, and our metabolism does change, but we also affect our metabolism and that aging process by what we are putting into our body, and
Mhm.
how just by a healthy lifestyle. So.
Right, right. Yes. Um, I feel like that, like you said, a lot of people thought of metabolic health thinking about their metabolism. As I age, my metabolism gets slower. I start to gain weight that I can't lose. My energy's starting to be depleted. Um, it's starting to get more brain fog. Then for some people, not your mom, but for some people, dementia, Alzheimer's, those are things too that might change. Even your mood, you might, have an increase in different mood that you didn't used to have. Uh, Things like acne, adult acne is also a sign. Um, so those are all signs that might show up that might say you need to take a check on your metabolic health.
Mm-hmm.
So that statistic that we put up along with our graphic said that I believe it was 1 in 7, was it 1 in 7 people have actually have optimal metabolic health.
Right. I think it was 1 in 8, but
Might
yeah.
have been 1 in 8.
Yeah.
So that's a big amount of people that only one person can actually say out of a group of 8 people that they are healthy and that their body's functioning the way it should and not aging faster than their actual biological age. So so that's a really big deal. So we've talked a lot about MetaPower, but I think when we talk now about ways to improve your health, like there's a whole list of different things that we can share, but you can see maybe now how that MetaPower and lifelong vitality will fill the needs of improving that metabolic health. So we've talked a lot about blood sugar and stabilizing that and eating foods that help stabilize, as well as reducing the amount of artificial sugars that we're putting into our bodies. Mm-hmm. So that's a big one, right, Linda? The blood sugar. And then the carbohydrates that we eat. So the meals that we're producing. How many of those meals are mostly carbohydrates that our body takes and consumes and converts into sugar again? And that kind of, that sugar amount kind of gets stuck in our body, for a better way of explaining it. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't allow us to function the way that we should.
Right.
Yeah.
And I when you were talking about sugar and talking about carbohydrates, and when when we, and I've said it before, but when we actually were doing a breast cancer challenge where we were using the oils daily, one of the things that I got to researching and found a book which was Beating Cancer with Nutrition. And when you're talking about carbohydrates and actually producing more sugar, then it's like one of the chapters is that sugar causes cancer. And again, I've asked my doctor that. Yes, it does. And so that is, you think that if our American diet, I mean, sugar, okay, fast food restaurants, high carbohydrates, and it's easy. Grab this drink, grab that drink, and so on. And so we are actually, I I like to imagine that my cells are becoming out of shape. They're not this beautiful round with a nucleus, but they are maybe they are twisted in many ways because of what we have put into them. And so if you've done that for years and years and years, oh my goodness, yes, you've put yourself at risk. And how do we potentially get ourselves back into that perfect shape where they are actually using the food sources to produce the energy we need to produce the healthy lifestyle. So.
Yeah, and you triggered another thought too that is sort of a different topic, but it could tie back to this. So I think there are a lot of us who are seeing inflation affecting our grocery bills.
Oh, big time.
And if you are somebody who's been trying to cut down the cost as it rises, one of the ways to do that is less fast food, less maybe less eating out, taking control of the foods that you're buying and creating your meals that will reduce that sugar intake, but also hopefully help your monthly budget too. So metabolism and inflation, they might be a nice little package together to come back.
Yeah, and it is. It's just, I thought I had fruit, I had almond milk. I didn't have very much. I thought in my grocery cart yesterday, and I had, Wednesday, I had $90, and I was like, for two of us?
I know.
Really?
Especially if you're buying eggs. The price of a thing of eggs.
I actually took my husband I said, look, eggs are $5 a dozen. You've got to go, whether it's muddy or not, to our Amish people, because we get them for $2 a dozen. And then I think he gives her a couple of dollars extra because, so.
That's nice.
So, yeah. So, but we get, I feel like we're getting organic eggs anyway from the Amish. So.
Good. Yeah.
But it is.
The struggle to maintain our health and our wallets at the same time. Yes. So, I guess with this metabolic health and the MetaPower that we have, if you haven't tried the MetaPower to see what it can do for you, I know there's going to be, you'll probably have lots of questions with it because it seems like it's a large system, but it does affect everybody differently. So some people might see a lot of change. It might be that you're going to the bathroom more. It might be that you're hungrier than you were before. For some people, they might get headaches while they're, going through that first month. But it's something that you kind of have to work through. And I know there are groups that we have on Facebook that you can jump in and ask questions and see if other people are experiencing the same types of changes to their body while they're on the MetaPower. But there are a lot of different ways that people are seeing change. And it might be in weight loss, which is a good thing. But it might just be that you've lifted your brain fog. It might be that you're sleeping better. So I highly recommend the MetaPower system, and that would be one great way to help with your metabolic health for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes, I have been taking it for 3.5 months now, consistently. I probably and I think sleep has been one great factor for me. It's just been like, okay, I am sleeping through the night. But I also know that when you're talking sugars and carbohydrates, my husband is only taking the assist. And as a diabetic, his numbers have been maintained. you know, between, I would say between 115 and 130, which is very good for a diabetic.
Okay.
And so we're very pleased with that and how that's affecting his metabolism. So
Good. Very good. Well, I don't think we listed all of them. I know there's a, we're kind of at the end of this, but
I think there was, you're talking about listed all of the kinds of cancers or the kinds of numbers.
what having poor metabolic health puts you at risk for. I think we kind of went past that and went right into.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had that up here now.
I know that, you know, we're talking about breast cancer is one of the big ones. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's all those things that come into play, but it also, you know, definitely would impact colon cancer because that's where the foods, you know, are going through and being, and so that is another one. I mean, I guess as women, you know, our first thought is because we hear so much, but some of the other types were endometrial cancer.
Oh yeah.
Gallbladder cancer, kidney, pancreatic, and the esophagus cancer.
Yeah.
So those were some of the ones that, and it seemed like your metabolic health, it wasn't just the weight, but then that pushes the blood pressure up. That impacts the cholesterol, you know, your good and bad, your triglycerides, and, you know, and then your sugar. So all of those things have an impact.
Yes, so it's very important. Yeah. It's very, it's probably one of the top health priorities I think you should try and focus on maybe this year as one of your goals, is trying to take small steps to improve it as much as possible, because I don't know if you're the one in 8 that's got the good health, but chances are you're not.
Yeah.
So you might be right there on the edge and you didn't even realize that. So I think with the ratio being that large, that most of us as Americans can say that we need to improve our metabolic health no matter what. Yeah.
And I was thinking that our bodies are fearfully and wonderfully made. And we know that.
Yes.
And it behooves us to take care of ourselves.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, everybody have a wonderful Friday, and thank you for tuning in to our Oil Drip Chat. We'll be back again next Friday with another great topic and wellness tip.